Welcome to the Platinum Agent Podcast, where gold is just the beginning. I'm Renee Ruth, top producing agent, global real estate educator, and, believe it or not, a 2025 Grammy nominee. But today I'm here to help you hit the highest level in real estate. This is the Agent to Agent podcast designed to help you grow, scale, and reach platinum status in your business. Expect powerful strategies, expert insights, and real conversations about what it takes to dominate in real estate. And of course, I'm not doing this alone. My co-host Joshua is here too. He may not talk much, he is a dog after all, but he's got a nose for success and a talent for keeping me on track. So if you're ready to stop playing small and start thinking bigger, hit that subscribe button and let's go platinum together. Welcome to the Platinum Agent Podcast. My name is Renee Ruth and I am hosting today, and I brought in Danny Burgess, who's got quite an incredible story. He is one of the top 1% realtors nationwide. He works with eXp Realty, is the owner and team leader of Porchlight in the Bay Area, San Francisco area, as we all know and love. And he's got a lot of insight on how he got into this, what he wants to do with this, and where he plans to go, which is really exciting. So I'm excited to have him to share what he's willing to share with us about his real estate journey. Welcome in, Danny.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So tell us, how did you get into real estate? I know this was not your first career and it's definitely not gonna be your last. So yeah, fill us in.
Yeah, for about 12 years, I was working in the restaurant business as a server and bartender. My wife and I went on this long, I shouldn't say extravagant, it was the exact opposite, long and beautiful world travel trip where we were basically abroad for almost 2 years. And her and I were backpacking on a big budget. We had saved up about 30 grand, went and explored the world. When we got home, I just had this different perspective and kind of epiphany on the great fortune and the gratitude for being in America and having opportunity to do whatever we want with kind of limitless opportunity. And really, it came from my dad. My dad challenged me to go and walk through 10 open houses and tell me, he said, Dan, walk through 10 open houses and tell me you can't beat those guys. And for me, I was limited on my options because I never went to college. I barely graduated high school. I just didn't have any experience. And so one of the things, oh, there's my dog. One of those things was real estate. And unfortunately and fortunately, there is this low bar of entry. And so I went to these 10 open houses. I realized that I could crush 9 out of 10 of these people just because they were so lame. And then one of them was amazing. This woman, I forget her name, and I feel so bad that I forget her name because I bring her up all the time. She was so sharp. She was so friendly. She was so welcoming. She had all the setup for open house. And I said, that's who I want to be. And so that's how I got into real estate. And I was Lyft driving, bartending, serving tables my first year in real estate. I made $10,000, was working like 80 hours a week, commuting super far from Marin County, from my mom's house to Palo Alto, Silicon Valley. In short, it was a really hard first year. And I made $10,000. And my first full year when I was able to get full time, I made 180,000. And then my second full year, I made over 500,000. And then my sixth year, I hit the 7-figure mark. And that's when I was like, whoa, this could really
See
be
something.
life altering stuff. And that's where I'm at now, where I'm trying to keep up the momentum coming into year 11 now. So
Year 11. Okay, so first question I've got for you, it's been 11 years, you started out as a solo agent, right? Like, how did you expand? How did you scale?
Poorly. So I was with Keller Williams originally, and Keller Williams, I don't know if they still are, but back in the day, they were big on build a team. So I thought that was the path. And I've changed my tune on that, and we'll get into that in a moment. But I just started bringing people on, and I just started saying, hey, come script and role play with me. I'll show you how I've been getting these appointments. I'll show you what I'm doing. I'll help you with training. It wasn't based on leads. It was strictly based on grind and hustle and doing the right thing within the business. And very quickly, up into 2021, I think we got up to 24 agents. And that was when I hit the $122 million mark. And I wish I had the perspective now to realize how much of that was the market and not me being a badass. But we had a massive year. And then since then, the market has just gone down, and so has my agent count. And really quickly, I noticed that all these agents were hopping off the team for greener pastures, right? So I had to reevaluate what I wanted to do. I had a massive overhead at the time. It was like 40 grand a month. And so since then, I've actually scaled backwards, trying to get more lean and become more of a production partner agent where I sell a lot of real estate, but I have leverage with showing agents. I have leverage with virtual assistants, listing coordinators. So I do very little per transactions, very little hour count per transactions, but my clients still get great service. So that's where I'm headed now.
Perfect. I love it's always a I think too, sometimes if an agent can get alongside someone like you, they have a lot to learn because they won't spend the tens of thousands of dollars making not mistakes, but like the lessons to get to where you are. Okay, let's talk a bit about why you've been successful. I know for me, like I coach a ton of agents as well. I have a coaching program
Oh,
because I
cool.
think, yeah, I did it because agents that, like you said, you brought them all in, the greener pastures because we're not fed leads. And so I partnered with a lead gen system and a coaching system to create an environment where they feel supported and would stay. So, having said that, one of the things that I do coach about is the value of open houses. I think even in all the market shifts, open houses have still remained a powerful tool. Share a bit about what you do in your area in the Bay Area to be competitive in those markets, and if you like how that plays a role in your business.
Sure. In terms of lead gen stuff, or
Any of it, the success of building.
um, I'll tell you this, it's not pretty. And all my friends laugh when they actually get around me when they're with me for a few days, whether we're on a snowboarding trip or this, because I'm always prospecting. What people don't understand is like I'm prospecting more than anyone else, and that's why I sell more houses, generally speaking, than everyone else. And while open houses used to be my main pillar where I literally made millions from, now it's more based on sphere, referrals, prospecting my database. I work a little harder now for deals because open houses are so easy for me. I could go sit, but now I have kids. I want to be at their soccer games. I want to be with them on the weekends. I want to go on hikes. And you have to choose one or the other. And I'm not saying either one is right or wrong, but if you're doing open houses, you better go all in because you're missing time with your family. And I talk about that all the time. So I try not to do open houses and I try to grind in these morning hours during the weekdays, really just making as many conversations as I can. There's just absolutely no rocket science to what I do. And once again, my friends think it's hilarious because they see this big shiny thing on social media, but they don't see this like dark side of me getting shot down all day long.
The
Still
grind
to
of it.
this day, like even to this day, I get turned down way more than I get the yes. And the person on the other side just doesn't know that they're talking to a very experienced realtor. And that's the irony of this game is that you have to find people when they're in their window ready to buy or sell.
Needing it. Okay. So really quick, you mentioned that you love the ladies open house, which you did. So what have you done? I know you're not doing them now, but just for the newbies that are open housing it, what have
Yep.
you done for in open houses that's made it exceptional?
Yeah. 1 week from today, in 1 hour, I'm going to be on stage in front of about 1,200 people presenting on open houses. So that's cool. Literally exactly a week from now.
Amazing. At
It's that
EXP Con?
it, no, at Bill Pipe's, one of Bill Pipe's events,
So
but
give us a
it's
preview.
yeah, I'll give you. I can do this in 3 minutes. So, in short, it's just about doing more. We have a circle prospecting open house script that's really simple. You want to do as many of those neighborhood calls as possible. And what I've taught my team is use it as a Trojan horse. So it's not that I'm calling to invite them to the open house. It's me saying, "Hey, Renee, I promised your neighbor that I'd do everything in my power to get them the most amount of money for their sale. So I promised I'd call the neighbors and ask who did they know right now that's looking to buy in the neighborhood." I don't know. Perfect. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you, what are your plans in the next 12 months? So you can use the open house as a Trojan horse to have way more conversations with people, and they won't hang up on you because you're like, hey, I'm doing this for your neighbor. Right.
Yeah.
And then the door knocking script is this exact same. Social media, right? You go hard on social media so you get the extra credibility. Everyone thinks it's your listing, even though it's not. The door knocking, and then, of course, the approach in the open house, just having it presented, making sure the house is clean, having music, making it very welcome so people want to stay. I have data set up on the table and I have QR codes sprinkled around the house. So I have them in the master bathroom. It'll say, hey, you want to see homes that aren't on Zillow and Redfin? Scan this. And I'll have that sprinkled everywhere around the house. So they don't have to sign in with me. I have my mouse traps everywhere. And I can usually get one client out of every open house pretty consistently if I get like 10 people through. Yeah, that's it. That's really it. There's no magic bullet here. It's just do more than everybody else.
That's I can if you can outwork everyone else, you can be successful. Yeah, that's just it. So tell us a bit about like the team. Do you still have team members? Is that
I
right?
do. We're a team of 4 now.
Okay.
I've built the team so if you're a hustler, you're welcome on my team. That's basically it. And I have a gal who's on our team who has 4 daughters. So like my setup is with all my virtual assistants and my listing coordinator, like it makes it really easy for agents to lean into the leverage. So they probably spend half the amount of time a normal agent spends per transaction, which allows them to either spend more time with their family or prospect more. And
Yeah.
so that's the setup. We have small amounts of lead flow. We're partners with a lot of the listing referral companies and stuff like that. But we're hoping to clear maybe 60 or 70 million as a team this year, and it'll be significantly more profitable than when I was selling much more and spending a lot more time in the business.
Do you have the team structure then, like a 50-50 kind of situation for them?
Yeah, so it's 50-50 for any deals that I bring them, and then it's 75-25 for anything they procure. With that said, my overhead is extremely low. And so you have to choose, are we going to be heavy on office space and printing flyers and all of that stuff, or do we want to scale that back down to a lower overhead and then have better splits for the team members? So that's what I've gone with. I've seen every model in the book though.
I'm
So
sure. So how do you keep that culture strong? How do you keep that team culture strong?
the only thing we do is we meet every single morning and practice scripts and role play. So at 8:30 a.m. every single day since for the last 10 years, we've met every day and practiced scripts and role play. And that's made it easy for us to stay connected. We're connected there. We're connected on Slack. We're connected on our Follow Up Boss leaderboard. Those are the ways. And then, of course, I'm always trying to pour into them individually, mostly life stuff, right? And sometimes business.
So speaking of life, like how do you balance? You've clearly got a lot moving, but I heard you say I love travel and also where do you find and family and giving up
Yeah.
open? Here's the balance.
Once again, as we discussed before the podcast started, real estate is not my end all be all. Like real estate is my vessel to investing and traveling. And my family's going to Costa Rica for 3 weeks in December. Then we're going to Brazil in March. I'll probably take 20 ski trips this year, 20, 25 times on the mountain, and a bunch of other things, right, in between. And so I'm really serious about like living a huge life. And the only way you can live a huge life, guys, is, in my personal opinion, is controlling your mornings and controlling your prospecting hours. If you can just control those 2 things, like basically, I think Gary Keller said, like, if you can control your time up to 12 p.m., you basically like you can build any life you want, right? If you are just narrowly focused, really focused on what matters most from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m., right? Personal exercise, mindset, right? Goal setting, all of that stuff, rolling into your prospecting time, prospect your heart out. You can then build leverage, and then the leverage allows you to travel and do other cool stuff.
That's probably a lot of agents' goals. So I think the fear most agents might have is stepping away from production. Can you speak to that?
The word production, I'm still in production. I'm still selling houses. I'll sell 30 houses this year myself. But the difference is I don't show the houses. I don't go on the showings. And this was a big switch in my head. And this is honestly something I know agents will see and they'll be like, I would never let my client go out and see houses on their stuff. And that's a limiting belief. Your clients don't need you to be the one opening the door, right? They need you to be the one running the data on what this market has done over the last 20 years equity wise. They need you to be the one looking at the inspection reports and deciphering that stuff. They need you to be the one beating up the seller on negotiations, right? They need high level counsel. They need you to tell them not to buy the home if it's not the right home, right? The truth is, like, your least productive thing you can do is go out and show homes. The most productive thing you can do is prospect for more buyers to then help more buyers. And I think that's the biggest thing, and it is just use your time wisely. You don't need to show the homes. You don't need to be the one putting lock boxes on the doors. You don't need to be the one meeting stagers or appraisals or any of that stuff, right? You need to be the one in control of your life and your business. And that looks different for everyone. So,
I've always said that you have to take your hands off as quickly as you can, the things that you personally don't need to touch. I'm
yeah.
curious, so who are you getting to run? Do you hire a staff person to do this stuff, or how do
Yeah.
you do those showings if you're not, because I still do all my showing.
Yeah, I used to have showing agents on my team who I would pay 5 or 10% per client. So I'd get a new buyer in and I'd say, "Hey, this person is stuck to Jimmy. Jimmy, you're the showing agent for this couple, and when this closes, you'll get 5% if you show, I think it was 3 or more outings, and 10% if you do 4 or more outings."
Okay.
Like whole tours. Then I realized, man, I was paying them way too much money. I was giving these kids like $2,500 off my checks. And when everyone starts leaving the team, you realize, oh my God, I gave away hundreds of thousands of dollars to try to get these people to stay.
Yeah, and they
And,
didn't stay.
and I
Yeah.
didn't stay. And I never should have done that. And I hope the agents that left my team realize that now, because a lot of them aren't in the business anymore, that I was like giving them everything. So if you're watching this and you left my team, haha. Um, so no, okay. So now what I do is, sorry, I'm a little spiteful, as you can tell.
I'm not, I'd be spicy too, because it's a lot of money invested to show. I've learned this. You can give people a lot and they'll still go. Like
I
that
gave people so much money, and they were all so ungrateful leaving the door. So if you're growing a team, know that's coming. That's part of the game.
yeah, yeah.
And unfortunately, I didn't have the emotional maturity at that time to handle it well, right? But with that said, now what I do is I just pay really well per door. So I'll get agents to open doors for me for 50 or $100, and they'll do 5 or 6 doors. So it'll be $500 for in different price point. My price point's a little higher, right? My average price point's about 1.3 million. So you got to gauge, don't do this in a lower price point
Yeah,
market.
I in it. Yeah.
You got to scale, right? You got to keep it on the right scale. So I just pay per task. So I pay a little bit when people go out and show homes. Just yesterday, I had two different buyers out with two different agents touring homes. I paid each agent $100, and I prospected. I took my kids to their practices. I did all the things that I wanted to do with my life that day, and I use that leverage. And we do that for everything, for house cleanings, for every vendor, for our listings. Like my virtual assistants coordinate everything. They coordinate the itineraries for the showings for my buyers. They coordinate all the vendors. I have a listing going to market today it's been 2 weeks since I've been there. I had someone go and take a video of it, make sure it was cleaned, make sure that all the staging was the way I liked it. So just getting creative with leverage is my jam now. And that might have been, I got coached by Dan Martell for a year, so he's stuck in my head.
I will also say coaching is fantastic. Have you turned into a coach? Have you done this? Are you paying back now, creating a coaching environment? Because I've always said, if you want to get to the next level, go where those people are.
I coached with Dan Martell for a year. So he
Okay.
was coaching me, buy back your time guy, in a group setting. And that was really wonderful because it wasn't real estate related. It was everything related. It was every business out there. So he was speaking towards being a business owner, not a realtor. And I think that's another place us realtors get stuck is we really wear that real estate agent hat tight.
Hard.
And you got to take that off and realize, oh, I'm a business owner and I'm building this to live a big life, not to be running around like a chicken with my head cut off. But yes, try to help others as well on the way.
And how do you manage the business when you're away? Like, I think that's also a mindset thing. I can't leave because how do you manage travel and keep it running? So you just said 25 ski trips. I heard a couple weeks here, a couple weeks there. Like, how does this keep moving while you're doing that?
I wish I remembered the coach of mine that told me this, but like my big dream is to leave for a year. That's my next big goal. I'm going to leave. We're going to move abroad for a year. We're thinking Costa Rica, but you got to little chunks at a time, right? So my coach said, Dan, don't go for a year, just go for a month and see if you can handle that. And so our first thing was last year we did a 5 week RV trip where we were just gone for 5 weeks. And it's just like anything else. You figure it out, right? You leave, you cross your fingers and toes, like you're super scared. I was super scared. And then you figure it out. You're like, oh, I can't be here for this. Who can I get to be there? So did I lose money by going on that trip? Probably because I wasn't prospecting like I was supposed to be. I wasn't at any open houses. I wasn't doing the things that I was doing, but I survived and I learned a lot and I feel better leaving now for longer periods of time. And I think that's really what it is, right? You got to leave for 5 days, then you got to leave for 8, then you leave for 15, and the anxiety builds.
Yeah. So, question the dog owner in me says, what do you do with your dog for a year in Costa Rica? Does the dog come? What happens?
Dogs are coming. Dogs are
They
coming.
are.
Dogs
So
are,
they just, okay. Dogs
yep.
come out. That's amazing. Because I'm like, I have dreams of living abroad. Like, I'd love to do Paris for 6 months. I'd love
Yeah.
it. But I'm like,
You have a small dog. I think you can bring your dog on the plane.
okay, I know Australia is the only country we can't go with them without them being quarantined for a month, I think.
Yeah. Our
Like,
dogs are big. So we have to there's someone who will actually drive your dogs from America through Central America. I think it's like 2 grand per dog or something like that. But they'll actually shuttle your dogs down in a car.
yeah, put them on the plane cargo. No.
I feel weird about that. Like, I think I would. I think what you have to do is you got to get them to Florida. I'm in California. You got to get them to Florida, and then from Florida you can fly them, and it's a shorter flight, so it's not as tough.
And
There's a
then,
bunch of ways to go about it. I just feel bad putting them in. I don't
yeah,
know.
the thing under the belly that made me nervous is if oxygen went, or you know what I'm saying? Like,
If they came out not alive on the other side, like my kids and my wife would kill me. Um,
and you probably feel away. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. So the car thing. Okay, that why me 2 grand for a drive? Hey, road trip kids. Yeah, okay. I was just that was the dog mom who just goes, and how is that gonna happen? Because I
yeah.
always like
So there's like these guys who will drive your dogs for you, and that's what we're probably
I
gonna do.
just okay, I love it. Okay. So going back to traveling and managing business while you're away, what do you do? Let's talk about like long term. So you've got 11 years of business behind you. All of these clients that you've talked to, you say now you're in the sphere moving that business, right? What does that look like? Let's say you're talking to an agent who's got a huge pass funnel, right? How does that work? How do you work that?
So I have 26,000 people in my database. It's a huge database. I have an inside sales agent who's calling through that database 4 hours a day. I have my virtual assistants who are texting, and then I have YLOPO AI. So really the smart thing that we are still doing right now, like we're finally, guys, finally getting smart, like right now. Every buyer lead should be on a search. Every seller lead should be on a home valuation. Every single one. Every single person in your database should either be hooked up to some sort of search where they're like, hey, look at these homes in Berkeley that are under $1 million. Click on this link. They click on it. You get alerted. Now you have a task for that day to call them and be like, hey, saw you popped up and we're looking at homes. So every lead should be doing that. And then you should have some sort of system like a virtual assistant or ISA or yourself to reach out to those people when they pop up and they take action, when they open their home valuation report. Hey, Susie, saw you open a home valuation. Want me to get you a more accurate number? What's going on? When you have a robust database, they have to be on some sort of automated system or it's just impossible to keep up with them.
Do you have a suggestion? You said why Lopo. Is there good AI tools that you've discovered? Because that is where all of this is heading. Have you found some great AI tools that you can?
I'm sure there's plenty out there. The only one that I've ever used is this YLOPO because we've been connected with them for a few years now, but it's getting better and better. The conversations are becoming really tricky to even know that it's an AI assistant. They literally will write, here, I'll just read one for you guys that probably sent out this morning. They've just gotten uh, so good that nobody notices. And like the directness of the deal too. Let's see this last one. Hey, life happens. I know things get busy. Just give us a quick still looking or not now so I know how to best help you. I don't want to be the person that keeps texting when you don't need me! Exclamation point. Not now, please. And then it says, no problem at all. Thanks for letting me know. Feel free to reach out whenever you're ready to explore options again. Take care. Thank you. Take care. You too, Raja. Always happy when you're here to help you when you're ready. So that all happened overnight, right? And I have like
You responded, and they responded, and you
they were
got.
responding back and forth. Yeah, yeah. And then I wake up and I see 20 conversations and I just get to cherry pick the ones that are, hey, maybe we're thinking about it, or hey, we don't know what's happening. Then I can call those people. So I have 87 tasks that I need to hit today
That are in there.
calls through the database that are tasks that popped up from either people looking at their home valuation reports, looking at a home through the search, or interacted with my AI. And that's now how I get most of my business. It's harder than once again just doing open houses, but it allows me to be with my kids and my wife like anytime I want.
No, it's time leveraging, right? Because anything that's automated.
Yeah.
So the YLOPO, I've never used it before. So that app actually like you dump all of your data into that app and they start to contact, or is yeah, that's
So if
a
you have buyer leads, you when you sign up with them, you just export everybody, or I forget exactly how it happens. My assistants did it, but yeah, it's really cool, and it's once again, you have to be careful with the money you spend when you're new or when you're building your business. If you're not making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, it's hard to bring in all of these tools all at once. But figure out the thing that gives you the most leverage. And honestly, the very first thing is a virtual assistant. by far and away, that's the best investment I've ever made. And it changed my freaking life. It forced me to use them, right? Because when you get one, you're like, oh shit, I need to do something with them.
Yeah.
And that's been my biggest one. This is my virtual assistant because then all of a sudden they take almost everything off your plate and then you start looking at everything differently from a leverage perspective.
And now, quick question, because I've had so many, there's horror stories about VAs, right? Like, what have you done? Where did you find them?
Originally, I was using a third-party company. I won't drop their name, and I was paying way too much money. And unfortunately, I just had to cut ties with them and that VA because I knew there was a better way to find them. And so I got another one. It took me 5 to find the one. And then not to plug my stuff, but now I've launched my own virtual assistant company because it's been such a game changer for me. I was like, hey, look, I can build a world where I pay my virtual assistants more than anyone can pay them because they're only getting paid 500 or 600 bucks from these third-party companies or
Yeah.
less, and then they're taking 1,500 from the client. So the virtual assistant's getting screwed, the company's winning, and the agent has no idea. Now, any virtual assistant that works for me in my company, they make $1,000 a month in the Philippines. They are living such good lives. They're so loyal to me and the clients. And what I do is I get multiple agents on each virtual assistant because most agents don't have enough work. They only pay $600 for their virtual assistant, way cheaper than any other service I've ever found. The clients win, the virtual assistants win, and I make a little bit of money on the side. But I created this mousetrap that's just been so cool for people.
So smart. So smart. Okay,
Yeah.
I love it. So let's just to wrap up our conversation. What are your specific growth plans? You've given us so many cool nuggets, but what are your specific growth plans? What's on the horizon for you? What are you seeing happen?
Pay down my debt. So all my debt's right there, written out on that whiteboard. So I want to pay all my debt in the next I have a financial coach now. Shout out to Matt Plummer. I want to pay down all my financial debt in the next 12 months. And then I want to have $4 million invested by the time I'm 45. And then it doesn't matter. Nothing else matters. Then I can travel. My biggest growth goal, this is truth, and I can't wait to look back on this. My biggest growth goal is to have a taco truck on a beach somewhere in Central or South America one day. And, that's all I want.
Like,
Yeah, that's it.
a tiki hut on a beach. I
Yep.
love it. Dude, I love it. Man, it has been so cool talking to you. I'm so grateful for everything you've shared with us, Danny. Thank you so much for your time. And I look forward to hearing about your taco truck. I'm sure if you're on social media, you might end up posting about that one day. But definitely, let's just recap where everybody can find you on socials. If they want to get to know you, maybe reach out about the virtuals. I don't know if you offer the
Yeah.
virtual.
Yeah. I go by The Giving Agent on Instagram. The Giving Agent. That's the best place to find me.
That's where perfect. Everybody check him out. I'm going to follow you on Instagram. Thank you so much for your time today. I greatly appreciate all of your insights. Good luck on the weekend when you go do that talk, or sorry, in 10 days or whatever that is. But yeah, thanks again for joining.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
That's it for this episode of Platinum Agent Podcast. If you're ready to take your business beyond gold and into platinum, let's connect. Reach out to me at this email, Renee@ReneeRuthOfficial.com, and we'll make something happen. Don't forget, hit subscribe because Joshua and I will be back with more insights. Until then, go platinum.